So I have started recording. So yeah, if no questions, then let us go to the usual two positions for analysis. Not this. I think we are at was 3. 9 and 10 we had seen it last time, right? Was it 9 and 10? Yeah, bishop to g1, right? Position number 9 was bishop to g1 was the answer, black to play. Yeah, we had seen it last time. And this also we saw it. So let us go to 11 and 12. Yeah, this is the position for first position. Yeah, Anup, you are right. Bishop to a7, correct. Madhura also got it. Bishop to a7 kind of forces very much, I mean, it untangles all the black pieces and forces a thing. So bishop to e7 will force the rook to take the pawn on, take the bishop on a7. And once he takes it, then white rook will also take it on a7, allow the king to take it. But if king takes back the rook, then the pawn is going to queen, right? And any other move also, the pawn is definitely going to queen. So you are able to get the pawn through to the last angle. Unless you sacrifice the bishop, it is not possible otherwise. The two rooks are kind of holding it, right? So it is not possible otherwise. So, but bishop to a7 kind of completely unravels the black's pieces. Black, no, there is no time to take the pawn. There is no time to take the pawn. Oh, you are saying bishop to a7, rook takes a7. Ah, okay, okay. When white rook takes on a7, you are saying knight can take the pawn, but then the other rook will take it. So other rook will take the knight, and it is like two rook battery on the 7th rank, right? Versus white's rook, black's rook is only away. So black with knight will also fall, and one rook against two rooks. Anyway, you are not going to win, right? I mean,
But
you
it
are.
is better than allowing the to make a
Yeah,
queen.
yeah, that is right. Better than allowing, but it is a very much lost game. There is no chance,
Yeah.
right after that. So yeah, so that is that. So yeah, so that is that. So let us go to the other position. This is the other position. Madhura, knight to e5 is very tempting. Knight to e5. Is it right or wrong? That is the question. Otherwise, it is the first move that comes out, right? Knight to e5. Position number 12, white to move. c5. Okay. Why c5?
To block the bishop from getting out of the.
Very, very important. Very, very. Knight to h4. Knight to h4 is okay, but kind of it will not serve much purpose. Your knight is going away. It is one move. It is attacking the queen, but queen can always come back and to a better square, right?
Here's two very funny jokes.
What? Two funny jokes. Knight to e5. Okay, Madhura, the key thing is, yeah, knight to e5 is very tempting, right? It is attacking it is threatening checkmate on, not checkmate, but queen coming to d7 and thing. No, queen to f7, how? Knight will take it, right? Knight to e5, queen to f7, no point, right? I mean, knight will simply take the queen. So, no, that is not the threat. That is not the thing. And that is the only way really to defend the d7 pawn, right? Simultaneously while the queen is going. But there is a completely surprising defense at the hands of black. Can you find it? Knight to e5, there is a very big surprise defense for black. Queen takes not b7. Queen takes g7. Knight to e5, queen takes g7. King takes g7. And then c6 to c5, discovered check and at the same time attacking the queen. Yeah, and so black is able to regain the queen. right? So regain the queen.
Yeah, I meant to say queen takes
G7.
g2.
Yeah, G2. Sorry, G2. Yeah, queen to G2 is a surprising defense. Okay, so that is the reason why in this position it is better to play either queen to D3, right? Queen to D3 because the C2 pawn was also threatened, right? Or C5 is an interesting sacrifice. C5 is an interesting sacrifice. C5 will shut out the black bishop, but at the cost of a pawn. Black queen can take the C2 pawn. It will be probably be dangerous for black because black is not developed and he is grabbing the pawn, but it can go either way, so you have to see. But c5 is an interesting move, but if you want a safe move, then queen to d3 is a good safe move, right? So when queen, no, when you are saying a c5, queen to c2, queen to g7, huh? Queen to g7, yeah, queen to g7 is a killer. Yeah. So probably not immediately, right? Black
I mean
cannot.
queen to g2.
Uh, no, not. Oh, no. When? What are you saying? Only no. Madhura was saying it when if queen takes c2, then queen takes g7. That is correct. But here queen to g2 is a threat. So yeah, I think queen to d3 is a safe move. Right? Okay, so this was just to illustrate the sometimes like we have to think this one or two moves ahead. We have to somehow train our minds to look at the possibilities. Okay, the moment now, if anybody was this pawn was not there on c6, everybody would have thought of this thing, queen to g2, right? Checkmate is obvious. But what is not so obvious is that first queen takes to g2 and then the pawn moves and gives a check and whatever happens, right? I mean, those kind of things are not very easy to make your mind think. Not that they are very difficult for you and your level, it is quite possible, but it is just that the mind is not trained or mind is not used to think in those patterns. So that is why actually these kind of positions, and if you study them, and that's why I asked you to study for 20-25 minutes. Okay, so if you have struggled with this position and then somebody tells about this possibility now, then you will not easily forget it. But if you have spent only 2 minutes on this and then gone away and then you think queen g2, yeah, you will think about it and forget it. Only if you have struggled on it, then you will remember it for life. Okay, so okay, so that is what it is going. How is your Stepan method, those problems, how are you doing? Okay, the 6 daily problems, Anup, you are doing it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, good. I intend to do it myself, but somehow I am able to do about 3 days in a week. I am able to do it, but not 6 days in a week. So yeah.
So I try to do it, sir, but then it's too hard for me to do it when I wake up in the morning, sir, because I'm sleeping when I wake up.
Yeah, then you should try it slightly later after some breakfast and all, maybe.
Okay, sir, I'll try that.
Yeah. And they are tough as you go beyond. See, I find it, I think, sixth up to sixth I can go. Six, sometimes seven, sometimes eight. These are the places where I also sometimes make mistakes. First 4, 5, I think easily you can do it. And again, depending on your level, maybe first 3 you will be able to get it. But kind of everyday struggling it is good. Okay, with those puzzles. Okay, all right. So I'm going to leave you with it. Yesterday night, I think I sent a video about which explains about the endgame books. Do watch that video, and it is a very interesting and very good advice on endgame books. You saw that, Anup? Okay, fine. So I think so. So it is very important to go in the order that he has given. Okay. So no point in going to Dvoretsky's endgame manual, which we will not be able to understand even after 3 years or so. So it is at a international master level. I think it is important to use that. So Silman's complete end course is very good. I also suggest one more thing is Pandolfini's endgame course. That is also a good thing for beginners. Okay, Bruce Pandolfini, American writer. This is also very good. Silman is more complete, but Pandolfini also 240 positions it covers, and it is quite okay. Who was asking me? Ansh's dad was asking me, so I had suggested to him that they buy this book. Even anyone is interested in learning endgames, apart from while you are doing this course, I think this is a good one. Pandolfini's endgame course is good. The other very good book is for first level is 50 endgame lessons for kids by Mueller. Carsten Mueller is a very famous German grandmaster, famous because of his endgame mastery. Okay, so he has written a very nice book, 50 endgame lessons for kids. Okay, each lesson is consisting of just 2 pages facing each other. So the book is very nicely laid out. Left side page, right side page, that covers one lesson. So like this 50 lessons, so 100 pages plus another maybe 20-30 pages of other general advice, 40 pages. So it's a small book of about 140 pages. So very good book, very concise. So that can be your first endgame book. If you are saying, then I will say these 3 things. One of these 3 things. Any one of them you can pick it and do it completely. It will take you almost 1 year to do it. Okay, to really study it. Because each of 50 endgame lessons also consists of at least 6 positions in each lesson. So you can't do it more than 1 in a week thoroughly. So if you do 1 in a week also, it is same thing. Pandolfini has got 240 positions. You can do it 1 position a day. So it will take you whatever, almost a year, right? With some break in between. So all of these 3 books, any of these 3 books, pick it up and do it, and you will get a lot of benefit. Okay. And other endgame books you should go after that. All right. So I'm going to stop my recording. Any other question? Anyone has any other question? Yeah, I'm also posting those learn from the masters every week. I'm posting one link to one video. It is by the Leech's channel on YouTube itself has got that playlist. Very nice. So you can watch it, the entire playlist if you want in a binge watch, but otherwise I'm sending one video every week I'm sending. So at least 1 in a week you do make it. Okay. All right. So that's it then. So